The following podcast is a next level production.
Still can't believe this shit is legal. I locked up so many assholes for it back in the day. What the fuck did you say?
It's literally nothing.
Jesus. How hard?
What?
How hard did Butcher suck your dick that you miss him that much? His mouth must feel like a Hoover Deluxe.
God, every single thing you say is so gross. He saved me, okay? More than once. So I owe him.
Oh, bullshit. You're on a mission. You get the job done, okay? I stormed Normandy. I fought the Nazis. You want to know what I do when I'm sad or scared? Fucking nothing. Because I'm not a fucking pussy.
You didn't storm shit. Your whole Marlboro Man act. It's fucking crap. And oh.
Hey panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about The Boys, Season 3, Episode 7, entitled, Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that in reference to Herogasm with all the people burned?
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. And I only watched the episode twice, but I think they're just trying to throw us off with these titles.
I think so too. I really do. When I started reading it, I thought it was like Candle in the Wind or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So. John. All right. Well, The Boys Season 3, Episode 7, Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed. The synopsis is, did someone say birthday? Come celebrate at Buster Beaver's with our new deluxe VIP birthday package with seating for up to 30 guests, 10 large 2-topping pizzas, and 10 pitchers of your choice of soda. And of course, a special birthday play starring Buster Beaver and his cast of furry forest friends. All for only $199.99 plus tax. Buster Beaver's Pizza, where kids make the rules. Okay, Black Noir really has put a shade on this episode because
such a crazy, wild episode. And I guess I was listening to TV Podcast Industries a little bit talk about this episode, and or no, they talked about Homelander, and that there's a Homelander episode, the last episode. And I checked the Diabolical thing, like the last episode of Diabolical is a Homelander episode. So I meant to watch that to see if it had anything to do with.
Oh, I forgot about that. I actually watched all of them in a kind of like a fast pacing. Jamie and I were thinking about covering it, but yeah. All of them were interesting, shocking cartoons.
Right. And they're all in canon according to the showrunners.
Yes.
So something, I guess, I think there's something in that last episode. I want to watch it. I may try to watch it tonight to see if there's anything in it, and then I'll bring it up next time we talk. But yeah, it was so crazy, and I can't even. I wish I'd watched it a third time, but that stuff was just wild. I don't know. Yeah, his hallucinations, his craziness. The fact that part of his brain is missing. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Well, but we got to see what we didn't see in the flashback sequence of Nicaragua, and they did it in a animated fashion, so it wasn't quite as, what's the word I'm searching for? Hideous, brutal,
yeah, exactly,
violent,
but honestly, considering what we got last episode, they probably did this due to filming issues during COVID and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised that was their way of doing things, just to like, hey, we could just do it in cartoon form. Get these people, get Laurie Holden come in and do her voice over through Zoom or something, and that'll work out. Yeah, that's where we move right into our initial thoughts overall. So initial thoughts as a whole, what were your thoughts?
Just crazy. And I mean, we got a lot of information in this episode, and I loved it because I'll get deeper into it, but I loved, normally I'm not big on, show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
But listening to the legend, to Paul Reiser as the legend talk about Soldier Boy and all that stuff, which like I said, we'll get to, was just fascinating to me. It was amazing to hear him tell that stuff. And it didn't bother me that all this exposition was just being rolled out,
Yeah. Yeah. Especially as, it's like, when Soldier Boy was singing, he goes, Soldier Boy was to singing what pantyhose was to finger huffing.
Yeah.
Everything was there for him, like talking about Soldier Boy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my impression with this was all over the place, but at least we got some story backup or answers. As with Noir, well, he is messed up. We kind of figured that. Well, he's not exactly the Noir that we know from the comics, so spoilers if you actually read the comic, people. This is bad for you people, because in the comic, basically, he was like a doppelganger for Homelander and took over. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to do that with this. So
yeah, I
kind of like what we have now, because it's kind of like interesting in the sense that he went from one team to go to a next.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's kind of playing, well, spoiler alert, we said spoilers in the beginning, probably playing against father versus son at this point. Because at the very end, when Soldier Boy states that, he kind of gave a sperm donation at the very end for cloning, and that's his son, and he was not, he didn't want to interfere with Homelander at this point. I guess he found this new, we're going to get a tag team of Homelander and Soldier Boy, maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the case, or if they're going to do a twist on it, and that's the setup for Billy and Hughie and him taking on Homelander. It's going to be interesting to see. The next episode, this is the penultimate episode. The next one is the last one
for the season.
Yeah. And so we're going to get some sort of resolution here, whether it's, and so that's like, the second time I watched it, when I listened to that phone conversation, I get like the first time I was kind of leaning towards, well, I guess Soldier Boy is turning his back on Hughie and Billy at this point, because he did kind of walk away from him. Mm-hmm. But then I started to think, well, what if they're doing a twist here where, he's just, yes, he is biologically Homelander's father.
Correct.
But this is kind of a twist of him taking him on. So we'll see the next episode.
It might be his way of trying to get in underneath and do something to, who knows? Because he could regain his power in Vought if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
If he destroys Homelander.
Right.
But also he might, since he doesn't we've already seen what he did to the twins at Herogasm.
Right. And
then we already saw what he did to Crimson Countess.
Mm-hmm.
And we know he's longing or looking for Black Noir.
Yep.
And then he went after the other one on his team as well.
Mindstorm.
Within this episode. Yeah, Mindstorm. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to go after each and every one, destroy them or get them out of the way. And then what he could do is take over for this particular team itself, or take over Vought for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my speculating and my thoughts. A lot of the stuff that I liked within the episode that we got answers to was Maeve being alive. So, Homelander's literally holding her hostage. And I think it's in Vought building, the building where Vought is, and like some sort of, but how do you hold somebody like that that's got like Wonder Woman that has those powers and everything?
Yeah. In a certain way, I don't know if maybe they have a way of dampening their powers, or if he's just convinced her that she's, captured, and, kind of a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. But he's definitely got her, and this is one of my points. So we'll go right into Maeve being alive. I love that whole conversation they have where she sees that he's scared, because he tells her that Soldier Boy and Billy, and Hughie also, he doesn't mention Hughie, but they killed 8 Supes in that explosion at the house, and the ones that are alive are powerless.
Yep.
So we understand now that's what Soldier Boy's main thing is.
That he got from the Russians, if you think about it. He got,
exactly.
Basically, he destroys Soup's powers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But here's my problem. Here's my hole is wasn't A-Train and Blue Hawk, weren't they in the house when that happened? Or was A-Train out of the house?
A-Train was gone at that point. He was dragging. Okay. He was already dragging Blue Hawk.
Okay, before
that.
The explosion. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought he had grabbed him after the explosion. So that's why I was confused. So I may have to watch it again to make sure. It was
either just as the explosion was happening or it was going to happen, and he was long gone because of his power.
That could have been, yeah, that could be, but then we get the reveal in this episode that they gave him, they gave him Blue Hawk's heart, and now he's back to being able to run, and he doesn't have any problems. He's got all his powers, but he has this racist guy's heart. So that's going to be an interesting psychological twist.
He's going to go through a lot with that mentally. That's going to mess him up big time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I got this racist bigot idiot's heart in me now. And he's a soup, but that's the only way he's able to handle and have his powers at that point.
Mm-hmm. Right.
One other point that I had was just more of Soldier Boy and his crazy antics, like with the priest and the nun, just taking him out because he's just his PTSD and not able to trust anybody.
Well, no, they attacked him. Mindstorm had definitely brainwashed. Like I'm convinced that Mindstorm had brainwashed them because that nun attacks Hughie and starts biting him.
Yeah,
and so I think he was correct in what his assumption was. I'm not agreeing with what he did now. I still think it was outrageous, but he did explain to Hughie. He said, "No, this is Mindstorm's MO. This is what he does: is he gets regular people, he brainwashes them to attack us. So we got to kill them before they attack us." And that's when she's biting Hughie, and Soldier Boy's got the gun, and he's trying to and he kills her. But man,
yeah. And we find out that Mindstorm is bipolar, and the way for them to track him is to figure out where he's getting his lithium.
I love that. I love that through that whole conversation, with Paul Reiser. And again, I loved getting back the legend because we were hoping to. I was hoping to see him again, and we got to. And we learned that all that stuff, that opening scene in the bedroom where he's ruining the sheets, and he's got those old prostitutes in there.
They were prostitutes. Those are the cleaning people.
The cleaning people. Okay, still the older ladies. That he's in there with, and it was.
He goes, "Oh, well, we got the lube. Why? Because I need the lube. Because, they're really good in the sack as they get older, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "But you need..." I was like, "Oh, my God, dude, really?"
Yeah.
And then, of course, the legend turns in. He walks into it. He goes, "Oh, man, this room has seen two Jacquelines, Smith and Bissett."
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I loved, and this is where we get this scene where Billy comes in and he's got blood. Oh no, that was the previous one. But he comes in and he's checking all these off the grid cabins that Soldier Boy has been telling about where Mindstorm might be. Yeah. And then they finally get the reveal from the legend that, oh no, he's bipolar and he has to have lithium, which that's super. That means his bipolar is really, really bad if he's on lithium.
Oh yeah.
That's a heavy, heavy drug.
Well, so they start you off on lithium. They actually start you off on lithium. There are other medications out now, verbally ready. I know through family that has the same issues in their lives. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying who, but I know for a fact that, somebody I knew who was related to me had to start on lithium. And then after a while, they moved them differently. So he might have been using lithium for years, but it kind of lost its effects. Yeah. Maybe due to compound V in his system.
Yeah, but still, they're able to track him down to which cabin he's in by his prescription, by finding this prescription, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, Butcher getting manipulated by him as well. And we get to see Butcher's past through his eyes in his nightmare, which is very interesting. I thought that was a cool take because there's a lot of stuff we didn't realize about Billy. We only heard stories or slight stories or some flashbacks here and there. But with this one, it was a whole flashback about his brother. Basically, he saw himself as his father towards his brother at the very end, which was terrible.
Yeah, it was really, it was one of those things. And I noticed on the second watch was we kept getting glimpses of the gun, but not seeing the whole scene until the end of the episode. And but every time he would go into one of those flashbacks, there would be a point where you would see a flashback of the gun.
Yes.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't pick that up until the second viewing when I kept seeing that they were foreshadowing what we were going to see at the end with his brother killing himself. So, yeah.
I kind of figured out exactly where he used to live and why he is. Well, Butcher is a West Ham United fan, just like myself, but since he is English and that means he lived on the East End of London, and that's London East End Londoners' favorite team, soccer team. And they're basically the underdogs of British soccer. But I'm a Hammers fan, just like Butcher is. But that's because I love Iron Maiden, and I'm just into all that stuff. And I root for the underdogs as well. But yeah, so it tells me where he lived in London at that point.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty cool because they had the whole flag up in the back, and I was like, that's so West Ham United.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Well, apparently in this episode, we know now that Annie can pound her liquor like it was water.
Yeah.
I guess
that was
from
Iowa,
she was with, she's able to do that because she grew up on it.
Yeah. I love that scene between her and Kimiko and then Frenchie later on when Kimiko is convincing her to give her, the permanent compound V. And she wants to be super again, even though she knows that she's going to go back to being this same
Killer.
way where this way of not feeling is what it sounded like. Like she said, she couldn't feel Frenchie's arms properly because of the powers that she had. But we see her get that back at the end because, she starts healing again and we see when it happens. So it's just going to be, again, that's one of those, I loved though, like them reading that text from her and her telling them that this is something she's choosing this time. She's not being, it's not being forced on her. She's choosing it this time. So yeah.
Also, talk about Frenchie. Apparently, he's very creative when he's high. So him and Mother's Milk sitting there, and he realized about the vapor and how to stop Soldier Boy.
Yeah, and we see that in the animated flashback that it's got to be actually administered through his face. You got to put some sort of covering on him. And that's what Frenchie figured out I'm assuming that's what he figured out is that is how the gas has to be administered. Because remember when Marvin tried it in the house, he just kind of picked up the thing and threw it away, like it didn't bother him at all. So I thought that's a very, very cool thought. One of the things that came up with that whole Maeve interaction in Homelander was he tells her that even if she dies, he's going to harvest her eggs and his sperm to make a child from them, which is just creepy and weird.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him. That was the first thing I thought of because he even stated it's not against you. I respect you and your wishes. I wouldn't push myself onto you.
Right.
Oh, I'm like, okay, in a sick way, he's saying it, but if something happens to her, meaning that if she gets killed, he has a way to procreate and create another child, or if not a super child, even better than his son already that he had with a human.
Yeah.
A regular human, I should say. Also, let's talk about the V-24. Now, we know Annie states to Butcher, saying that it's lethal and deadly. You could die from it after 4 to 5 doses.
Right, 3 to 5 doses. And so we know, and I was trying to work this out in my head.
How many times did he take it?
Yeah, we know that Butcher has taken it at least 3 times.
Yes.
Because we've seen him, we saw him he took it the first time when he killed Gunpowder, and then we saw him take it there in the bathroom. And then he took it in the woods with Hughie. So there's definitely 3 times at least that Butcher's taking it, and maybe 4 already.
Wasn't it in Russia too when he lifted the door off as well for?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the one that I'm not sure the timing of. I'm not sure the timing of that one. If that was the bathroom one.
No, the bathroom one was when he was at the house with the kid.
No, he didn't take it there. He was just suffering the effects of it. He was just throwing it up. I don't think he took it there.
I got you.
But there was that scene in some sort of a locker room or something, and that may have been in Russia.
That might have been, yeah.
Yeah, so Hughie's taken it at least twice.
Yep.
Maybe 3 times. Butcher's taking it at least 3 times, maybe 4. So I'm not, like I said, we may get an exact count in the next episode because Annie did say she's going to keep trying to call him. And I don't want us to stop talking about this real quick because we see Hughie's kind of redemption. He's coming back. He's coming back because he says that to Mindstorm. He says, I don't want to be this person who is, he says, I saved your life. I don't want to be this person who, like what Butcher is doing. He said, I don't want to be that. I want to get my girlfriend back. I want to be a good person again. And I thought that was really great to see that from him. And the fact that he brought all those extra clothes, and so I don't know. I wondered, this is what I wondered on my second watch, is if he had planned all along to zap Mindstorm.
He probably, because he knows Butcher and he knows how crazy Soldier Boy is.
Right. And so he always planned to, I think you've talked me into it, that I think he always planned to zap Mindstorm out of there. Of course, unfortunately, they didn't go far enough away because Soldier Boy was able to find him. Yeah. And then he throws the knife into Mindstorm's eye and then he just shoots him in the head, which,
that again, shield to the head. With Mindstorm. He went all Cap America crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But I did, like I said, I did love it. I did love that we're starting to see this redemption arc, and we're also starting to see a little bit from Billy, because there at the end when he comes out, when he comes out of it, and he hears the voice of, and this is where I was kind of unclear about. This might have been Mindstorm kind of playing with him in a way, because he comes out and he says, all these people are dead because of you. Becca's dead because of you.
Yep.
And Hughie's going to be dead because of you. And so we see him when he comes out of it and he says, I'm sorry.
Yes,
to
he
Hughie.
Does. Yeah.
Which I thought was just wonderful. So again, maybe we're starting to see a little bit of Billy changing
his ways.
But again, the next episode is going to be really, and it's now we got to wait however long for season 4.
Well, we're doing this on a Tuesday, so we got a few days.
Yeah, no. I mean, to wait for season 4 after we get the last episode.
Yeah, the last episode.
So that's all I was saying was. That was really, really good.
Did you notice though in the woods as they were walking after they took the compound or the V-24? Hughie points out the ear goo coming out of their ears. It's like, oh, you got some goo in your ear. That green stuff. It's like the Ninja Turtle slime coming out of your ears. But Hughie's forearm and his right forearm was glowing as they were walking. So I'm curious if this further mutates them in some way. And what if it doesn't kill them? Does it just mutate them or forces them to? Well,
I wonder
if their powers.
I wonder if the only way they're going to be able to not die, because they've taken so many doses of it already, is if they're going to have to get permanent. They're going to have to get the permanent V.
Correct. Yeah.
And it did look like when she was shooting up Kimiko, there was still some more of it. And you notice the difference in color, right?
Blue.
The green is the 24 and the blue is the permanent.
Yes.
So I think there might be a possibility of we might see Hughie and Butcher have to get permanent powers,
which would make Annie uneasy about it, and Butcher will hate himself even more so. So there's a lot going on. There was something that I picked out too when they were talking at the very end when Annie called Butcher. I forget whose house they were. Were they in the Legends? Or whose place was it? Was it a cabin?
They were still at Mindstorm's. I think they were still at Mindstorm's.
It was a
house
cabin
at that point. Yeah, at his cabin. I think they were maybe trying to look for evidence of where. I don't know. I got to watch the episode again, but I know they were somewhere. You're right. They were somewhere off the grid, and it may have been Mindstorm's cabin.
There was a cool poster in the background because obviously they made movies of these heroes back then. And there was one from Crimson Countess, and it said Whiskey Sunshine in the back.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty cool. I hope people could check that out and see that.
Yeah.
I wanted to point that out.
Yeah. We didn't talk much about Noir's hallucination yet. We talked a little bit about it, kind of around it. But one of the things I don't want us to skip over is the fact that, there at the end, we get the reveal that Stan Edgar did okay Noir doing it, but it was kind of Noir's plan, because Stan Edgar says, don't tell me what you're going to do. I want to have deniability on it. He said, I just want you to know you've got my blessing, basically. And so that was really cool, because then one of the little animals said, it's time to finish what you started.
Yep.
And that's when we see Noir walk off. And so I think there's going to be a confrontation between
Noir and
Soldier Boy. Yeah.
And one of those scenes too, the when he was having a discussion, I guess it would have been in Vought building or something, and then that's when Soldier Boy snaps and starts beating on him, and it's just in cartoon form. And
he was late. No, he was late. He was late to the meeting, and because Soldier Boy had taken the part, had got him axed from the Axel Foley
movie, obviously,
the Beverly Hills Cop, which I thought was a great reference to with Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop, and Soldier Boy saying, "You're not funny," and then he just starts wailing on him like it's just
but even still, we see the head bashing in Nicaragua. So that's something that we kind of looked at when we saw they got hit in Nicaragua. We thought, they got bombed or something. Or we didn't think it was Soldier Boy that did all this stuff. So at this point,
find out,
that, it was their attack on Soldier Boy that caused him this distress, and basically Soldier Boy caved in his brain. Hence why he has all those, that the big, I guess his skull was impacted so much. He's got an indentation. His face is all messed up. His eye. He looks like something out of Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's where we see in that cartoon flashback, we see Crimson. I think it was Crimson Countess jump on his back and put that bag over his head that had the gas in it. So we realized that, okay, that's how you've got to administer it. It's got to be directly onto his face, basically. So yeah, this next episode is going to be wild. I don't know. It's going to be great. I can't wait for it. Friday can't come soon enough.
Well, also there was issues with Noir in during that whole conversations with the cartoons. He had issues from when he was a kid. Apparently there was an issue. Was it in Nicaragua and the Hard Rock Cafe massacre?
I don't think it was out in Nicaragua. I think what they're saying is that he's been kind of traumatized his whole life. They said the seventh grade erection, they got him through that thing, and so he's been seeing these hallucinations for a long time. And the Hard Rock Cafe massacre must be something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that had to be at a time when he was an adult.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, or when he was part of the Seven.
Yeah. Let's see. Marvin. We haven't talked about Marvin yet. And his ex's husband, that was that whole conversation they had when she comes back from the Homelander rally. And then, Marvin's a big guy, but that he didn't deserve. I don't know.
Beat him.
I went back and forth. He hit him really hard to the point where it knocked him down and stuff. And so I don't know if we're going to get some fallout from that. But of course, the daughter and the mother see him.
Well, the daughter definitely was scarred at that point. She was afraid. You could tell. Yeah, of her own father, and I think that's what really upset him more than anything.
Yeah, and the remark, the guy was out of line. I don't know if he deserved that big of a punch, but he was definitely out of line in his comment.
And that one scene with the Deep and his wife, and then his wife leaving because he was trying to have a threesome with the
with octopus.
And I guess her name's Ambrosius, or Ambrosius, and she and it's like she's completely against it and leaves, and she's like leaving, and because he yells out, "She's a mollusk and she has feelings."
Yeah.
But this is like the second time we've seen him with an octopus around his crotch. And funny enough, apparently a lot of fandom that's out there, or even some of the people that have watched this that are really against the show, that was their issue for Herogasm. Not the guy with the big squirmy penis.
Yeah, it was well, they put it there. We got another one of those. I got it written out here. I'll say it here in a second. One of those crazy title cards at the beginning that said this series deals with sensitive issues, including death by suicide, and contains scenes that could be sexual, graphic, or taboo in nature. No living people or animals were harmed or coerced. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Yeah.
So just like last week, we got one of these title cards kind of saying, hey, don't take this so seriously, calm down.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people are getting to the point, well, there's no rating on this. Honestly, it's MA, mature.
Right.
So if you're not mature, if you're not mature enough to watch this, why are you watching it if you can't, take, it's like, all right, you don't like it, don't watch it. But it's like the Howard Stern thing. I just want to see what he has to say next. I just want to see what they have to do next that can outdo what they did last.
Exactly. But I was a little confused about the Soldier Boy hearing voices. I thought maybe at first it was Mindstorm playing with his mind, but then Billy was pretty sure it's just because he's smoking so much weed, and because Billy's worried that he's gonna Hulk out sometime and go nuclear on him again. But because that's every time he hears that Russian pop music, he goes nuclear. So
Well, that's a way to use him as a weapon to trigger it against people if you wanted to. There's one quote that I just love from this, and that would be Soldier Boy, and it's when Huey was getting all hysterical about Butcher, and he goes, "Oh, what? Does he suck you so well?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like going on and on. But not that one. He goes, "If you're going to be hysterical, I'm going to slap you like Connery."
that was great. And I loved the one from Huey where he's talking to Butcher, and he says, "So just to recap, he's radioactive, highly traumatized, and heavily self-medicated. Feels good. This feels right. Yeah. So I thought he's heavily self-medicated."
Oh, yeah. Very much.
And the only other quote that I have is the one from The Legend where he's talking about Soldier Boy, and he says, "Yeah, he did. 2 weeks after D-Day for the photo op, he sprayed a fire hose in Birmingham, some target practice at Kent State. There were rumors about Dealey Plaza." So we see all these things, all these racist moments in history that Soldier Boy was part of. I thought was interesting.
Yeah. There's always some sort of character that's like that, but
yeah,
I just accept it.
Yeah, exactly. But I just love that. And there were rumors about Dealey Plaza. So
oh yeah, I know. All right. So, we didn't get any feedback as far as like email, audio feedback, no Facebook feedback. Sorry, panelists. We didn't really get anything out there, but we're going to have it this week for the very last episode. So if you guys want to, we will definitely put an image so that way you guys to, put your comments below. Same thing with Instagram and Twitter. We'll get those out to you. But YouTube, apparently we got YouTube feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About our coverage from season 2, episode 7.
Yeah, which is interesting. So at least, and it was days ago. So not months or years. This is like days.
Right.
So Maria Nacho says about our coverage of The Boys season 2, episode 7, Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker. And she goes, we see how Queen Maeve, she knows how to relieve or drown her sorrow with lots of men. Well, that was the truth during that episode, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I got to go back and rewatch that, but I do remember that scene of her with all the men and women.
Yep.
So she was having quite a party. And
she was having a huge party.
You know, we had that moment between her and Butcher in 2 episodes ago, where they both admitted that they'd stopped drinking and for a long period of time. And then suddenly, you know, they're drinking again. So yeah.
That might have riled it. Or maybe that's where Marie referenced that for.
Yeah.
All right. On to podcast recommendations, I guess.
The same ones that I don't want to mention the same ones that I've mentioned before, but I did listen to a lot of TV podcast industry's coverage of Ms. Marvel and The Boys, the episodes that we've already covered. Those guys do a great job, no matter whether it's 2 of them or 3 of them. So I highly recommend TV podcast industries and anything they put out. Those guys, they're putting out content. They're actually doing 3 right now. I believe they're doing the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, now
Ms. Marvel, and I think so. Yeah, I haven't looked too closely at the feed because I haven't been watching Umbrella Academy yet, but I think they're doing all 3 at the moment. So they're going to get.
I was just listening to their coverage on Herogasm. So Derek had mentioned that they were going to do it within the next month.
Right.
But I don't know if that was last month's episode.
Yeah. So maybe they haven't actually done Umbrella Academy yet. Okay, that's cool. But always, and Strange Indeed is going to be wrapping up their coverage of Stranger Things season 4. I send voicemails to them pretty regularly. And then this week I may try to get one into Run for Your Lives as well. So we'll see if I can.
What movie are they covering it this week?
They are covering Bird Box this week. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that since Netflix released it, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I may try to do that after we get done here tonight, see if I can squeeze it in. Cause I think they are actually going to be together in real life, Daphne and Paige, tomorrow. I hope this isn't spoil anything. It's not supposed to be told, but they will actually be together in real life to do their feedback portion of Bird Box. So,
interesting.
Cool. They record themselves doing the movie, and then they do the feedback
at a later time. Yep. Mm-hmm. You also, I agree with this, Wilhelm's Father's Day podcast with the return of Kristen. So, yeah, I agree with that. Plus, they're talking about having Lost We Have to come back as well.
Yes, hopefully that'll come back. And that's another one that I send regular voicemails too. So.
And I'm pretty sure after Strange Indeed finishes Stranger Things, they're going to be covering Umbrella Academy just like we are, and TV podcast industries. So
yeah,
you'll have all three at the same time, most likely at that point.
Yeah.
Because we're finishing up The Boys this week. Coming up, we're probably following up with Miss Marvel, and then we'll go into the Umbrella Academy, but before that, we'll probably do Thor, Love and Thunder, just for fun. Just our first impressions and thoughts. I'm not going to go see it multiple times, but what I could remember and have a good time with it. And then, we'll do Umbrella Academy, and hopefully that will lead us into August, where we get more stuff. Invincible will be there, as well as She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yep.
Yep, so we're moving right along. They really wanted to fill us with a lot of media content this year.
Yes, they did.
So, but with that, we'll move right along into how people could submit their feedback, so that way we could get it out there for you guys, just like we do with Marie.
Absolutely. Do you want me to start?
Yep.
As always, we can be heard on whatever podcast player of choice you choose, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or any of them that are out there. I think there's a whole bunch of podcast players. I use Apple Podcasts just because I have an iPhone. But hey, whatever you want to do, if you can give us a rating or review on there, we would love to read that and give you a shout out here on the podcast.
Exactly. You could also check out our website, which would be panels2pixelspodcast.com. Still currently working on it. I'm not saying I'm not. I am working on it. So we'll get that out to you soon.
We have a Facebook group, which is just facebook.com/panels2pixels. The 3 words just spelled out there in letters. Panels to Pixels.
And we are on Twitter, and we could be found at panels2pixels. That's panels and the number 2 and pixels.
We have an email address, which is panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels2pixels1. The TO spelled out right there in the middle, and the number 1@gmail.com.
You can find us on YouTube, and all you have to do is search Panels to Pixels Podcast. If you do the search, we'll come up. You could actually see our artwork from our podcast on your player of choice, but on the actual YouTube channel, on your Apple TV or whatever, Roku, whatever device you're using. If you like the channel, or if you like to listen to the podcast at times with the TV or your surround sound, that's the best way. Just subscribe, give a thumbs up. You'll be notified when there's new content. Please do the subscription. It'd be awesome if you did. I intend on putting more YouTube videos if we get more celebrity guests to interview. I'm looking for it. I'm submitting a lot out there right now. I'm getting a few bites, but as soon as a video comes and we have that, we're going to put it out there as well as on the podcast, but you could actually see us, and that would be fun too.
Very cool. We are on Instagram. We are on the gram, as the kids are calling it nowadays. We are at Panels2Pixels Podcast. That's spelled out all in words. I know it's kind of long. Panels2Pixels Podcast. They're on Instagram.
And we encourage you all to listen to the other podcasts on the Next Level Podcast Network. We highly recommend them. Wilhelm, obviously we mentioned it with Ben and his what would you call it? Top 5s of specific media.
He usually does a top 5, and he'll get a celebrity or get a guest host in there to do top 5s. I've done top 5 Western movies with him, and I think we did top 5 war movies. I think I did top 5 war movies with him as well. So
yeah, I did a couple myself too. So you could check those out. He has celebrity interviews too. It's all in one particular podcast. You have the Melting Pot, Podcast Zero, and so much more. So all you have to do is go to nextlevelradioonline.com and check them all out there. So coming up next week.
Coming up next, what's the order that we're going to do this in? We got Ms. Marvel. We got the penultimate episode of Ms. Marvel is coming out this week, episode 5. We got the season finale of The Boys coming out this week. So we got a bunch coming up. Like Mark said earlier, we got Thor, Love and Thunder coming out, and just a lot of content going to be coming your way from Panels to Pixels.
Yeah, just look out on all the social medias and seeing what exactly we're doing right next, and then submit your comments below. And where else can listeners hear us?
Well, as I said earlier, I submit voicemails to various podcasts that I follow and listen to, and they usually play there, so you can hear my voice on various other podcasts.
Awesome. You could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, and that could be found on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network. There, I cover action, adventure, fantasy, suspense, and thriller films. Basically anything that gets your adrenaline going. I think the last episode I put up was Top Gun Maverick. So that was a co-podcast with Watched It in the 80s as well as Adrenaline. So it's the same podcast on both. So that way we're open to two different people's listeners at the same time, opening up our crowds. Next up after that will be Contact with me and Lizzie. And
Yay.
we cover Contact with Jodie Foster. So for a 2.5 hour movie, we podcasted for 2.5 hours. But we covered a lot, which was pretty cool. It was a very interesting podcast. After that, you'll get The Angry Red Planet, which obviously I'll be probably recording with Jerry sometime this week as well. So keep your eyes and your ears checked out for that when you're checking out on the podcast players of choice when they do pop up, or if you see that it's actually posted on the Facebook page, which would be facebook.com/Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So just check those out when you can. Yeah, well, that was our coverage for The Boys, Season 3, Episode 7. I think we covered it in-depthly this time.
Did pretty good.
Did pretty good, I think. I hope you guys liked it. So, let you guys know, same podcast, different panel, different pixel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night.
Good night.